Hola, everyone. How are you? This is Nicole Peterson, and I'm here with Andy Marbitzer. We're coming to you live from Panama. I just want to take, we're kind of sitting outside. I just want to see if everyone has having a problem hearing us, if everyone can hear us. Just let me know, just real quick. Can everyone hear me? Okay, sounds like we're coming in great from Dave. Thank you, Dave. All right. Say hello, sweetie.
Hello, everyone. This is Andy and Nicole. We are up in the what's called Buqueta, which is the a jungle resort, actual a golf resort up in the upper elevations of Panama. We came from Boca del Toros of 1,200 islands from Panama City. We were down here in Panama sorting out some personal finances, becoming a global entity. Our main goal here today was, as many as you know, Vizionary is about cryptocurrency and taking control of your own financial future. Well, we're not only talking about it, we're actually doing it. We're down here building a trust, putting several LLCs in a trust, and starting the process of becoming a global entity. So welcome to the call. If it's the first time that you've been with us or have met me and Nicole, thank you for joining us. We're going to do an overview of Visionary and what it pertains. So timing is great for you if you just joined Visionary. We have an incentive and we have a promotion going on for the Leaders Convention in Spain, in Benidorm. So get with your upline, Nicole, if you'd like. Tell them a little bit more about Spain, the contests, and how to qualify and what that means.
All right. Well, you know what, guys? I guess the best thing to do is to sort of start off with just showing you, because pictures always say 1,000 words, right? So this was actually a picture taken of all the leaders that qualified for an all-inclusive trip to Spain last year. And this is all of us here, sunny skies. We had some training, a couple days of training. We did some sightseeing, some touring, met some great people from all around the world. This is where you will make friends for the rest of your life, from people from all around the world in all walks of life. So
well, let's see how good we can do real here. To the left, with his son with the hat on, the sun hat there to the left was a banker that we met. And then, of course, I'm in the cream-colored suit, and Nicole with the pretty aqua dress on. And then right above us, the fella that's got in the white shirt right behind us, Scott Schlemmer, one of our leaders. And, hey, our blessings go out, prayers go out. Yeah. We lost a member of our family. And just know we're thinking about you, Scott, and your mom, and the passing of her. And I get emotional, so I won't talk about that. But to the right of him and over my left shoulder is Luca Damianoff. And then there's Sean. And then we've got in the back, we've got my eyesight's not so good. But to the right of Sean is Jesper Benson, who's our network advisor out of Denmark. And his wife, Lena, right behind her. And then who's that? Dave Stacy?
It is.
Dave Stacy. And then we've got...
oh, no, that's not Dave.
Oh, it is?
No, I don't know who that is.
I don't have my glasses on.
That's Mary June.
Mary June and
Yusuf.
And Yusuf. And who do we got back there?
Caleb.
Caleb, right. And then we've got Dave Stacy in the blue shirt. And then we got Ian Hannaford. And then we've got Dave Bergsma. And then the guy with the hat and the sunglasses is Patrick Moore. And I'm not sure of the next gentleman, but the guy to the far right is our CFO, Ladislav Pastor out of Slovakia. And then to the top right is the founder, Frode Berg, out of Norway. So that was the leadership convention last year in Spain, and we're going to do this every year. So the qualifications, there is pending right now. It started, about a week ago, that you can earn your
just started
all expenses paid trip to Spain to come meet the leaders, meet the owners. And this is where we're going to meet this year, Leaders Seminar Spain 2016, all-inclusive type resort, beautiful, overlooking the sea, beautiful place, beautiful convention.
You can golf.
We'll have some major announcements to be made there.
We will.
So before we get started, we started with those 20, 30, 40 people that we brought in And a lot of the people that we originally shared this with exactly 1 year ago, in the next week or so, I'm going to do a State of the Union on Vizionary, where we started, what we've achieved over the last couple of years, and just real quick recap. We started really with a thought and a prayer of, okay, how do we take a future disruptive technology and monetize that? How do we take the problems within MLM and get people into profitability, make them successful? And we started with 30 or 40 people. Now we've ran in the first year, we're up into the tens of thousands of members. We're setting records on mining. We're allocating cryptocurrency, our Capricoin, at the highest rate ever right now. We're on 3 external exchanges. We've got a valuation externally right at about 50 cents. So if you would have said a year ago, Andy, we'd be on 3 exchanges, that we'd have tens of thousands of members, many of which who've made 6 figures in the last year, acquired tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of coins, I would have said you're crazy. But we're way ahead of the pro forma that I had in my mind of where we would be, how long it would take to get there. So we're on the precipice right now of cryptocurrency, the knowledge, where this becomes mainstream. We are diligently working with you or behind the scenes on the marketing system. The video that we did in Dallas has been released to the leaders. They can share that accordingly, and then here in the next day or two, we'll release that to everyone. It's a great video by Tahir Ali, the CEO of CapraPay and Top Sites, and then, of course, Gary Connor, who's the CEO of Cryptocurrency or Altcoin Today News, and then myself, Andy, president here of Vizionary. So, we've done quite a bit in just really the last 8 months that we got on an external exchange. We're regulated. We're for real. Our coin's for real. This is, we were the first MLM on the planet with an exchange with a MLM distribution arm, with a fully functional blockchain. So we've done some things that, quite honestly, we're the first to do it in history, and we're proud of that. We appreciate all the hard work and everything everybody's done. Now we're going to give you the tools. Now that we're going to have exchanges, now we're going to have our mobile applications that Tahira working on are the original versions. Now we're going to add more to it, functionality and those types of things, so we can start moving and facilitating the movement of money, which in essence will have a dramatic upward effect on the external exchanges. So everything's going as planned, actually ahead of plan. So welcome aboard to Vizionary, and we'll start here with the overview and start with the presentation. We might as well start with slide 1. Welcome. Okay, go to the next one. Of course, that's myself, Andy Morbitzer, and my soon-to-be wife and significant other, Nicole Peterson, who's my partner here. And
still waiting for the proposal, though, Mike.
Easy now, easy now. Okay, moving right along.
All right, here we go. A revolution really is happening. It's really driven by technology, and now all of us can see it, right? We see kids on their smartphones. We go to a restaurant. Andy and I were at a restaurant the other night, and we're just kind of looking at this couple who was there on their cell phones, and they weren't even talking to each other, but they were there having dinner together, but they weren't talking. They were on their cell phones. So we can see technology is really taking hold of where the future is going.
Most people, when they walk into a restaurant, the first question they ask is, what's your Wi-Fi password? So understand the biggest industry pretty much on the planet is smartphone technology, the use of smartphones in our favor. We're going to use smartphones to really market cryptocurrency. It works hand in hand. It's disruptive technology that will be facilitated through the use of smartphones, and that's an emerging market. One of 3, the way I look at it. You've got cryptocurrency, which is disruptive in the way that it'll change the way that people buy, sell, transact, barter on a daily basis. It becomes mainstream every day. Cryptocurrency becomes more and more used, more and more identifiable and used. Main Street is starting to understand that we, the people, have the ability to control our own finances, to conduct business, transact business, move money throughout the world without paying intermediary banks and third-party fees. In essence, we can pay ourselves for the use of our own currency. So it's coming fast, and it's the biggest, really the biggest industry in the world. It's money. It's an 80 trillion industry. So we're going to combine technology, disruptive technologies, software using the Vizionary apps, the CAPRYCOIN apps, and of course the cryptocurrency, banking, and smartphones is three huge industries, and we have all that at Vizionary. So it's the largest market on the planet. It's hard to estimate just how big it is, because everything, at the end of the day, the common denominator is money. Think of it this way. If you had the ability to get involved and have a vested interest and a way to monetize things that you do on a daily basis, meaning buy goods and services, move money, and you would get a benefit and a value to do so, it's like at the beginning of what?
Visa.
Well, I don't look at it as like Visa, because that requires a application and credit and all those types of things. I look at it as a debit card, as a PayPal, as a money order, as a wire transfer. Understand what we offer requires no background, no credit check. It's open to everybody. It is verified and confirmed through our network of users. It's efficient, it's cost effective, and it saves people money. And then we're going to throw a rewards program on the back of it and reward people. So there's a defined benefit for using our products. And our number one product is really education. We're teaching people how to become self-sufficient, how to not only protect themselves with assets abroad, because that's what cryptocurrency is. It's a real property. It's a means in which you can protect yourself and really hedge against deflationary issues and macroeconomics around the world. You don't have to look far to know that the world economy, they're insolvent, they're broke, and it's hurting. So this is an insurance, this is a diversification, but yet it's also a value proposition in the fact that you can earn commissions, you can save money by using our product. So go ahead, Nicole.
All right. Well, Andy always says a lot.
Well,
and he puts it so well, like no other person on the planet can, honestly. So, well, our presentation, we talked about two technologies, and Andy's already hit on three, but really this comes down to smartphones and peer-to-peer social platforms is really where Vizionary and CAPRYCOIN really excel. So, and we see just, technology disrupting all over. And, what's a better industry than being in an industry to make money? We're all in this, to make money, to be in a business that actually can increase our revenues and increase our family generational wealth. What's a better market than, the largest market on the planet, which is the banking and finance industry?
Well, it gives you a lot of leeway. It gives you a lot of options. Not only is it a great store of value and a great diversification, but it also allows you to, let's be honest, you're never going to stop spending money and buying goods and services just on a daily basis. So what the inducement is here, what the attraction is here, what the value proposition is people, not everybody's going to join Vizionary. So what would be the benefit and the value to the end user to use our cryptocurrency? What's going to retain them? What's going to change that behavior that they've been accustomed to and conditioned all these years? And the answer to that is Vizionary and CAPRYCOIN. We're going to build our own ecosystem of users that anybody, whether it be the end user, the customer that gets cash back, the merchant that builds a deeper relationship and has that relationship with the customer, they're going to earn money, retain their customers, make some money. So it makes sense for every aspect and every component of what we're doing, whether you're a customer, a merchant, an affiliate, a member, it all has its defined values. And that's what gives it longevity. That's what's going to sustain the business model and the distribution arm. So it's happening fast, and it's happening all around the world. Japan, if you weren't listening, or watching just identified cryptocurrency as real property, as a currency. Last year in 2015, quite honestly, it was the first time in history, my background being financials, Wall Street, those types of industries, was the first time that a currency was identifiable as a commodity. And that's huge. That's saying that the entities that regulate currencies, typically banking and those types of entities, they're allowing us to operate in this space in which we control our own destiny, our own money, without, government or central authority intervention. So it's a beautiful strategy for short-term and long-term planning.
Just to let you guys know, and here are examples of where disruptive technologies like smartphones and peer-to-peer platforms have really completely disrupted the industries, and how this is going to affect the largest industry on the planet, which it hasn't quite yet, is it happened with media and how we consume our information, from going from newspapers and radio and television. You now see social media has become a huge industry, Facebook and YouTube and Twitter, and none of those companies actually create any of their own content. Not like radio and TV, where we're literally fed information. Literally, I know, I can't say that word. But with Facebook, what content do they create? Who creates that content? You and me. And YouTube, we're actually using YouTube, creating our own videos, posting them on Facebook and Twitter. We're using all these social media platforms. And these are industries that are becoming more profitable. Newspapers are becoming a thing of the past. If you ever take the train to work, as I see so many who do the 9-to-5 job, they all used to have newspapers. And now what do they have? Cell phones.
Well, I like to liken it to 2015 was really the identifier of what the future holds. I look at last year, there was more money in the trillions of dollars that moved from the public sector to the private sector, meaning people are finally understanding what an asset is, what insurance is, understand that movement from the public sector, meaning NASDAQ, Fortune 500, the stock market and all that. A lot of that money moved into cryptocurrencies. And last year set the record. It was the biggest movement of money last year to date. Now, do I expect 2016, 17, 18, 2020 to be increased? Yes. Understand that only less than 1% of all money transacted actually happens through cryptocurrencies. So the future is great. The value and the profit that you can, by taking action now, is unprecedented. You will never, ever have this type of opportunity in your lifetime. And here's just a quick little stat. Of all the currencies on the planet, the number one currency that increased and or held its value more than any other currency on the planet, guess what? Cryptocurrency. So do you want to be in a evolving, emerging market and an increase in a technology that's going to change the planet? Or do you want to keep your fiat currency sitting in the bank, and that money you have in the bank, quite honestly, is not yours. It can be seized at any time by a bail-in. You're starting to see bail-ins of retirement funds, bank accounts, as the entitlement of these institutions. Understand that desperate people do desperate things in desperate times. And I'm talking about governments. I'm talking about countries that in currencies that they're insolvent, meaning they're bankrupt. They can't afford it. So what are they going to do? They're going to go to the middle class. They're going to go to the bank accounts. They're going to go to the savings account, and they're not going to ask you. They're just going to take your money. That's what a bail-in is, and it's happening all around the world, slowly, little by little. Understand you are not in control, and I highly suggest, if you have a great exposure to cash just sitting in a bank, that you strongly consider taking some of that cash, getting a package within Vizionary, learn how to acquire Capricoin on the external exchange, and buy this cryptocurrency and hold it. It's safer than the banks. It's more liquid than the bank, and you don't have to ask anyone or their permission to move it, use it, etc.
Exactly. And Andy's
Exactly.
right. Exactly. Andy's right. So, I mean, the best part about it, what we do is, and we show you how to do that, just so you know. I mean, he was talking about getting Capricoin. We walk you through that step by step. Here's another industry which most of you are familiar with and know about, that smartphones and technology have completely disrupted. So within the hospitality, Marriott was founded in 1957. It's a $19 billion company. They've got real estate all around the world. And then, along comes Airbnb, and it completely has disrupted the hospitality industry. It was only founded in 2008, and it's already worth more than the Marriott. And here's the kicker. They don't have all the expenses the Marriott has. They don't have the real estate, the employees, the overhead, the, electricity, all the fun stuff that comes with, real estate and employees and salaries and turnover, right? So huge industry. And then we come to the transportation industry. Now this, Uber, is the fastest growing company on the planet. So it's huge. And most of us have heard of Uber. And, it's funny. We've even heard stories from people that we never even thought when we came to Panama, and couples that we've met who you never thought would have even known who Uber is, like older couples and stuff. And yet they're all using Uber. And here's the kicker too. We found out that they all believe that Uber is completely safer than a taxi. Here we go. It's just, no matter where you travel around the world, smartphones and disruptive technology are really, it's amazing how this can really impact an industry. And the only industry that has not been affected yet is, of course, the banking and finance industry. But it's about to happen. And that's where, when we look at, millionaires and billionaires, how do they make their money? They look at what's coming up in the future. What is the next best thing? And cryptocurrency, nobody's heard of it. It's new. We've talked to so many couples around the world, even here in Panama. Panama's probably a little bit more on the up and up in terms of that. That's why we came here for trusts and LLCs. People here are actually informed, and they know what's going on. But we still talk to people who maybe don't know what Bitcoin is, but they know the logo. They've seen the logo.
But
right?
They understand that, and they sense that there's a problem with the current situation.
Mm-hmm.
And they're very open, very receptive. When we talk about strategies of diversification, we talk about strategies of having assets abroad, assets not pegged to a country or a currency, or these are strategies, and these are prudent, financial, personal. I'm not giving any kind of financial advice, and I might as well make a disclosure. We're not giving any financial advice. I'm not saying, take all the money out of your 401k and drop it into a cryptocurrency. I'm not saying that at all. I'm talking about prudent financial planning. My background was financial planning, derivatives, securities. Now, I left that industry because I know it's manipulated. I know that it's paper assets. Guys, understand the SEC, the IRS, and just about every country on the planet that I can think of, with the exception of maybe one or two, have already come out and identified cryptocurrency as real property, as a currency. So we're over the hump as far as recognition and acceptability of the entities that control the monetary system. Understand they're allowing us to operate in this space. And some people say to me, well, the banks are looking at this blockchain technology and they're going to utilize it themselves. Well, understand the status quo. Nothing changes if the banks adopt cryptocurrency and disruptive technologies through the blockchain technology. It's going to be the same old status quo of fees, third-party fees. Don't think for a second that anything would change. Just the medium has changed. What the difference is between how it is now, who cares if the 6 largest banks adopt blockchain technology? You are still not in control of your own finance. You're not in control of your own money. This is the way that the people take back control of their own future. Think of it as an insurance. Think of it as paying yourself. Think of it as what other insurance on the planet. I don't care if you insure a boat, house, villa, car, life, dental, health, it does not matter. In this case, you pay yourself. In this case, if nothing goes wrong, it's still your asset. You still own, maintain, and control it, and you can liquidate it at any time. And to me, that's invaluable. You couldn't put a price tag on that. So what I would recommend, come in, get a visionary spot, engage in our culture, understand what it means to have an asset, understand what it means to have insurance, understand what it means to learn how to navigate an external exchange and buy these cryptocurrencies in such a way that you become an expert. You become the control entity of your own financial destiny and not the banks. We've lived under those criterion rules for many, many years, and it's time. No great change in history has come through powerful entities. All great change comes through the people, through the masses, and nothing has changed. Understand that 4,000 currencies in history, when not backed by a commodity, i.e. gold, all have the same ending. We as humanity continue to make the same mistakes and continue to kick the can down the road, and it doesn't work. It's been proven 4,000 times that currencies, when they print their own money, when they're backed by nothing, always end up the same way: broke, bankrupt, and enslaved to the powers that be. This is your chance, your one and only chance in your life that's happening right in front of your face. You've got another 5 years before the boat sails, and this becomes PayPal, a money order, whatever means that you want to look at, whatever payment processing that facilitates the movement of money. You missed the boat. It's like getting one little piece of the pie. Understand that you're going to get paid and have a value and a benefit every time a transaction's made around the world. You're getting a little piece of that. If I told you, 20 years ago that you could be the initial investor in PayPal or money orders or wire transfers, that you're going to get a small percentage of every dollar that's ever transacted around the world, you would do it unequivocally right now. This is the same opportunity that we're offering you right now. Either engage in the culture, get up to speed, become knowledgeable, or you miss the boat.
All right, so what's going to make us stand out from the rest of the industries? All the other industries, what's going to make us stand out from the banking industry? Cryptocurrencies are convenient, they're decentralized, it's faster, it's less expensive. I mean, there's the huge key, and it's safe and it's secure. It's encrypted, right? That you can't get safer. I've heard Gary Connor, who's our cryptocurrency advisor, has said that it's like 1 million times safer than the banking industry. We've just been conditioned because we've grown up and we've lived, and our parents and our grandparents have lived with the banking system. We've just been conditioned that that's the only way to go. And
to expand upon that, understand that fraud, hacking is the number one deterrent and number one problem of the banking industry: fraud. Whether you talk about banks, whether you talk about credit cards, whether you talk about a merchant, whether you talk about chargebacks, understand the way this ecosystem works. There is no chargebacks. There is no hacking. There is no exposure or liability. That understand, when you encrypt something, it takes approximately 72 years. And we change the encryption every 5 minutes. So to say that we're going to get hacked, to say that your money is unsafe online, is absolutely false. This is the most secure, most prudent way to have assets that aren't under government authority, can't be seized, can't be hacked. And quite honestly, I feel more comfortable with a digital currency and cryptocurrency than I do with my cash sitting in a bank, where the bank doors could close, the ATMs could be shut down, or the bank just does a bail-in and takes my money. Come on, that's not fair. That's not equitable for anybody. Some people are going to learn a hard lesson. Unfortunately, it's going to cost them a lot of money.
I touched on this before, how our fortune's made, but the wealthy, The smart people, they always follow trends and they follow them before they happen. Bill Gates is one example who, as a supporter of digital currency, which is cryptocurrency, what we're talking, cryptocurrency is more encrypted than digital. But the future of money is digital currency. Bill Bonner, who is the founder and president of Agora Publishing, has said that digital currency is the first improvement in money in 5,000 years. I mean, that's a huge statement. 5,000 years is a long time.
And for those of you that don't know Bill Bonner and Agora Publishing, it is a privately held educational platform or advisory or consulting type company that's predicted just about every crash in the last 3 or 4 decades. That predicted the crash of the 2008, the bailouts of Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, the devaluation of the dollar, the stock market bubbles. The guys, right now, it makes absolute sense to be part of digital currency. Not only, maybe you're not into it for an income possibility, but it's more about not losing your money. Now, let's say you want to get a part of Vizionary. This is about survival. This is about not only survival of your assets and not losing your money. Know that the banks very soon will charge you interest for you to deposit money, your own money, into their institution. Know that, in my eyes, cryptocurrency might be the safest alternative that I can think of on the planet right now. And this just happens to be a very smart individual that's giving you, he's giving you the indicator that, hey, this is what's happening. This is what you should do. Take a portion. And I don't care if it's on a monthly basis. Let's say that times are tough for you. And a lot of the reasons MLMs fail is because, quite honestly, their products are wants and not needs. And you have to buy a product to earn a commission. The way we structured Vizionary was, at the end of the day, everything you do within Vizionary, all the education that we provide, all the coins that are allocated to you through mining are still your money. And we don't ask you, there's nothing mandatory. There's no mandatory auto ship. I don't want to force anybody. What I really want you to understand is the foundation and the principles behind what we do. Our number one product is education, and we're here to help you not only survive, but to profit when the whole world is in disarray, when this whole world is undecided what they can do and what they can't do and what they should do. We're giving you the platform to be successful, to survive what I think will be the most challenging decade or two that we've ever seen, but to profit from it as well. So with that, next slide.
Right. What was really interesting about, I've been a subscriber of Bill Bonner's for years, and he was actually originally a skeptic of digital currency and is now an advocate. So he actually, cryptocurrency and digital currency is becoming more, not mainstream quite yet, but enough that he thought he'd better look into it, and now we've got his stamp of approval. Ben Bernanke, cryptocurrencies may hold long-term promise, particularly if the innovation promotes a faster, more secure, and more efficient payment system.
And what I think is very ironic about this statement, for those of you that don't know who Ben Bernanke is, he's the chairman of the Fed. He was the one that really dictates policy, the raising and dropping of institutional interest rates or indices like LIBOR and all other loans that are underwritten through an indice, for example, LIBOR, London Interbank Offering Rate. This is a guy that's part of the problem. And I don't want to get into politics, but the reason Donald Trump is so popular, maybe he's not going to be the best president. I don't know. But what he's saying is he's not an institutional politician. And a lot of people resonate with that. So to see Ben Bernanke, that used to be the chairman of the Fed, he's part of the problem. Understand that printing more money, expanding the money supply, keeps the great Ponzi scheme we know alive. And for him to come out and say that a cryptocurrency could change the way that we interact this what might save a lot of our lives, or a lot of our financial lives. But for him to come out and say something like this, because in my eyes, he's the decision maker. He's the institutionalized entity that has put us in the problems and given us the heartaches that we have now, because they're not built on principle. They're built on greed. And somewhere along the line, we sacrifice morals and ethics for greed, and we, the American people, us, the middle class, through taxation and inflation, which is just another fancy word for tax, bear the brunt of this stuff. And I cleaned that up a whole bunch. But guys, the writing's on the wall. You don't have to be a nuclear, anti-magnetic propulsion theorist to understand that we're in deep problems. And nothing's going to change. Printing more money just exacerbates the problem. It doesn't solve the problem. If you want to solve the problem, take the problem into your own hands and solve it yourself. Quit looking for entitlements. Quit looking for government bailouts. Be an entity. Become a global entity. Take charge of your life. Take charge of your global finances. It's up to you. You got nobody to blame but yourself. If you want to be a sheep, be a sheep. If you want to be a leader, be a leader. But before you can be a leader, you got to educate yourself. You got to engage in the culture that we provide and the education we provide. It can be very profitable, but more importantly, it can save your standard of living. It can save the generational wealth and the standard of living for your kids. So that's huge to me.
It is huge. And that, promote a faster, more secure, and more efficient payment system. It's exactly what we've done with Capricoin and CapriPay. And we're the first company in the world to do that.
Wow.
So what is the next revolution? What is the next trend that all of the wealthy people,
Visionary.
all the smart people, he always jumps the gun. Many people haven't heard what cryptocurrency is. It's a foreign word. What on earth is cryptocurrency? But a lot of us, digital money, electronic money, a lot of us are already using it. $99 out of every $100
that's bank-controlled money.
Exactly. Yes, that's very true. So, but just so you guys know, this isn't really, it's not all that foreign from what you're currently doing right now.
And just to take that a step further, when you look at debit card payment processing, when you look at today's digital money, credit cards and the like, understand 92% of all money that's transaction goes through a system called SWIFT. And that SWIFT system is really US based. It's all back through and secured through the dollar. But understand there's competition coming around the world through the BRICS, through India, Brazil, Russia, China. And there's a payment solution center that's going to be the competition to SWIFT, or to the SWIFT system, called CIPS. And it's the Chinese independent payment solution, or something of that nature. In other words, we've been bestowed a great responsibility as the US dollar being the reserve currency. And unequivocally, it's been unchallenged for decades, since the big war.
40+ years?
Maybe 40, 50, 60 years now.
Really?
60 years, yeah, wow. Since the big war, 45. It probably was institutionalized in 49. But understand that we had great responsibility. And with great responsibility, there's expectations to be met. And understand our friends and our foes alike, they're losing faith in the dollar. And it's turning. When you lose faith, and when the masses lose faith, know that the renminbi, the yuan, or a Chinese currency is now backed by gold, for example. You've got a Chinese centralized payment system that's going to really be competition with the SWIFT system. Understand, more and more monies are going to go into other systems. Know the devaluation of the dollar and everything paired to that dollar is under attack. The way that we have always relied on the dollar to be that wherewithal, that currency of sustainability, every single day is losing credibility, is losing faith, which in essence over the last 50 years, it's lost 93% of its value and growing rapidly. So know that your US dollar that was once a dominant dollar that backed everything is now under attack, and trillions of dollars every year are now starting to go into these new systems, thus devaluing our currency. So the time is now to take action, to diversify in currency, diversify in real property in these cryptocurrencies. That's the key to the game, guys, diversification.
Definitely. So we're actually moving from a world of centralization to one of decentralization. Along with money, like cryptocurrencies, it's just math and it's owned by you. I know Andy touched on this before on the bail-ins. I don't know if many of you know exactly what that means. We've all heard of bailouts where, when a bank goes bankrupt, the government bails them out and they're pretty much put into solvency back again. Well, now what's happening is the governments are now bankrupt as well. They can't afford to bail out the banks. So when the banks go broke, there's now what's called a bail-in. So if you have over...
Talk about reserve 2% of major banks, held in reserve currency.
Okay. So if I'm getting notes from Andy, but to go back to what I was saying, if you have over $100,000 in your bank account, if your bank goes broke, they can take all of the money in your account to help bail them out. Quite a few people actually know about it. More and more people are becoming aware and educated on it. But when you put your money into your bank account, even though your name is on that bank account, you do not own that money. So all that hard-earned money, your 40, 50, 60 hours of sweat and equity, whatever you're doing, week per week, 80 hours, as soon as you put that money into a bank, you don't own that money. The bank can come and seize that money anytime they like or when they're in trouble. Now, currently we've heard that it's 100,000. We have heard rumors, and this is scary, but at any whim, if they get bankrupt enough, I've heard of rumors that they are going to decrease that 100,000 cap to 20,000. So if you have more than 20,000 in your account, but this is just going to get worse and worse. If people aren't holding 20,000 in their account, if they're holding 5,000, who's to say how low they can go? They're making the rules. We're not making the rules, and that's part of the problem. We're not in control of our own finances. It's literally, we're putting our money in the control of others. Now, Andy wanted me to mention about the 2% reserves and stuff that the banks have. A lot of them don't even have 2% reserves. We've been researching banks and where the safest banks in the world actually are right now Hong Kong and probably Singapore. They're the most on the krona, and yep. They're the most solvent banks on the planet. But anywhere else, your money is really not all that safe. And if you think that it is, and that it's been a bank that's been around for 100+ years, well, that's great, and it has. But what we're trying to tell you is that the world, the governments and the banks are bankrupt, and it's only a matter of time.
Understand, think of it this way, and this might be a hard principle for some of you to really wrap your mind around, but you know what cash, what currency really is? It's debt. Without debt, there would be no physical cash. Understand, when you put a $100 deposit into the bank, what the bank does is quite literally takes exorbitant risks with your money, and they leverage that back out 900%, meaning if you had $100 that you put in the bank, they leverage that and they make loans leveraged on that $100, and they can lend up to $900 based on your $100 deposit. So all currency is technically debt in the eyes of the bank. Now, that's not money that you own. That's money they lent you. That was money that promulgates out of lending, meaning currency is debt. Without debt, there would be no currency. And I know that's hard for you to understand, but it's very true. You've got to think like a banker. And understanding it intimately is what I did for about 20, 25 years. And I know that structure and the way that works does not work. You've all heard of quantitative easing. You've all heard about The primary goal of bank is to expand the monetary supply. Without expansion of the monetary supply, the bank wouldn't make any money. And the problem with that is, think of it this way. When you make an investment and you lose money, do you get that money back? No. When the bank makes a very high, risky, very questionable investment with your debt, and they fail, they get banked out. They get bailed out by the government. Now, a couple years back, you remember the bailouts. You heard of Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. You know, there's a couple of GMACs, the car industry. Did you ever think to yourself, why did they bail out the Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac that underwrites all loans? About 98% of all loans, well, in the United States, they underwrite just about every loan, period. Meaning, think of it this way. What would expand currency and or debt to fuel the Ponzi scheme faster than a mortgage, for example? You know, the average mortgage, you know, a couple $100,000 or whatever it might be, times millions of people. That is the expansion of the monetary supply. That is feeding the great Ponzi scheme we know as the Federal Reserve. And without it, they would be dead and the dollar would die 7 years ago. So why did they bail out Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac? Because it's the distribution arm for the banks. Without these big loans, these homes that people go in debt, it wouldn't expand the monetary supply. Same thing with a car. Most people are going to buy a house. Most people are going to buy a car. So if they didn't bail out the automotive industry and the housing industry, or the loan, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, that would be a huge $1 trillion hit to the Fed that couldn't sustain the Ponzi scheme. And I hope you understand, that's the reason why some companies were bailed out. You know, Lehman Brothers, you know, they don't expand the monetary supply system. So they weren't bailed out. So they let that company fail. Now, that's not fair and equitable to anybody but the entities in the power. And that's exactly who I'm butting heads with, and that's who I'm getting in the ring with. And that pretty much says that, isn't it?
Some of you may have heard or you may not have heard of Bitcoin, but it was the first cryptocurrency established in 2009, so it's a few years old. It's actually now accepted as a global currency. Branded name companies, you know, these are all companies you guys have heard of and probably even done business with. But if you wanted to pay for these services, you know, airfare with Virgin Atlantic or travel or buy a computer with Dell, you can pay for these things with Bitcoin, which is a cryptocurrency. And PayPal, I mean, it's up and coming. It appreciated in value from, it started at a penny, US dollars. And today, actually, it's probably, I think it's around $450. It continues, obviously it fluctuates. But if you invested $100 in Bitcoin in 2009, you would be worth $4.5 million today. So did most of you have $100 in 2009 to put into, you know, an investment or a speculative investment, or almost a safe haven? Or, I mean, you can call it whatever you want to call it, but and there's many names for it. But you know, $100 into $4.5 million today, from 2009 to 2016, is not too shabby. So while, you know, Bitcoin has had an extreme amount of success, it does have its shortcomings, and that's where, you know, Capricoin and Vizionary really come in, and we've improved on their weaknesses. You know, within any industry, you know, a new technology comes out, it has some imperfections that any company can come along and improve, right?
Well, think of it this way. Bitcoin and its success came through speculative investing. Well, that's the way it goes. With Capricoin and CAPRYPay that Tahir Ali is building right now and is pretty much complete, and we'll add additional features. And so think of what Bitcoin and how successful it would be if they had tens of thousands of members that use the coin. Think of how successful they would have been if they had mobile phones, smartphone technology that really facilitated the movement. Think if they had a reward system, a loyalty system, a cashback system. Again, we're the first company in the world to have a cashback system that induces the use of the currency, that has a value, that has a benefit. So when I look at where we are in the first 8 months or the first year of our currency compared to what Bitcoin did, we're so far ahead of the power curve. We will be that dominant player that's trusted, reliable, that builds value through the use of the coin on a daily basis and not speculative investors, with tens of thousands of members, hundreds of thousands of merchants, and millions of customers that will use it because there's a defined value and benefit where you didn't have that with Bitcoin. So will we be a major player? You got to look beyond today and look at where we'll be in 5 years. Right now, you can acquire a Capricoin externally for 40 or 50 cents. That's a bargain. Those prices, you'll never get that again. A year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. You won't even, if somebody says 5 years from now, you know, hey, have you heard of Capricoin? Well, yeah, no. Well, I acquired mine at 50 cents a coin, or I did it through mining. I built a business, and all the Capricoin that I got were free because I did it through the work equity program Vizionary. I went to work, shared the product, shared mining, shared the education, engaged people into our culture, and we've acquired tens of thousands of Capricoin just by sharing it with others. We've protected ourselves, insured ourselves with the upside or the potential upside of the use of the coin, building the value. We could all be millionaires here today, whether you started 8 months ago or whether you start 3 years from now. You have the ability, because understand, everybody in this ecosystem, through the usage of the money, increases or will have an upward effect on the value. And that's what you got to understand. The time is now. Some people look at the external exchange and say, oh my gosh, you guys are flatlined. It's staying at 50 cents. Well, if you're not learning how to buy that Capricoin on an external exchange with all the marketing, the Vizionary itself, the network marketing, the smartphone, the usage, the CapRepay, then you're crazy. You don't get it. Don't join. Go somewhere else. But if you do get it, come in, go to work, get a package, and through work equity, you should be acquiring Capricoin for pennies on the dollar.
One of the biggest things is that Bitcoin has a delay. That's probably one of the main reasons it hasn't gone mainstream exactly quite yet. I mean, it's online. You can, pay for services online, but you can't go to your downtown to your local pizza joint and pay for a pizza with Bitcoin because it takes too long. Your pizza would be cold. Whereas Capricoin, we've actually developed it with CapRepay so that it will actually be instant, like a credit card, very similar to that, instantly. Transactions are going to be less expensive than your traditional banking methods. How many of you, I don't know, you may have children in university halfway across the world and they need some money sent from mom and dad, and okay, well, it's going to take 2 or 3 days for a wire transfer, and it's going to cost $30 to $60.
2 or 3 days.
Maybe 5.
Maybe 7.
And that's business days.
And a hefty fee at that.
There you go. Well, the beauty with Capricoin and on your smartphone, and this is where we see the future of money, you can actually send money to that now university student, your child, halfway across the world in real time at, I don't know, it could be 8 p.m. your time, but it's 2 or 3 a.m. their time. And I don't know, maybe they have to pay for their bar bill. How crazy is that at 2 or 3 a.m.? But it is, that's the way it is. It's instant. It's any time of the day or night, and it's free. It's also designed to protect and secure your finances. It's 100% safe and secure. I mentioned this before. It's actually probably more like 1,000, 100,000%.
100,000%?
100,000%, okay. Yeah. That's how it works.
Well, I asked you to quantify it, and there you go. 100,000 times.
100,000. You guys can quote me. Capricoin has been designed to handle high volumes of e-commerce. So you probably know more on this one than I do, but if we have tens of millions of members that join Visionary and start using Capricoin and download the CapriPay app that's, you know, completely free right now on Android and iPhone, and start using it tomorrow, we're good. There's no interruption. We're fine. It's a proof of stake and proof of work coin, which is
scalable.
It's scalable. There you go. Perfect. Couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, you just said it.
This is no, you said it. This is the Capricoin. If you go to capricoin.org, this is where you will find this website. In instant peer-to-peer transactions, coin for everyday use. That is our goal. So Capricoin is a legitimate cryptocurrency, even though many of you, there's thousands of cryptocurrencies on the market today. And so how do you determine which are the legitimate ones from the non-legitimate ones? Blockchain.info is a great site to go to. And if it's not there, it doesn't have a blockchain. Capricoin is on here. And then we're also on Bittrex.com, which is a public exchange. We're also on bluetrade.com, another public exchange, and yobit.net, another public exchange out of China.
Yeah, and we were the first in the world ever to have a cash rewards system attached to our cryptocurrency, but to have a coin that has a distribution arm as a network marketing company, we're the first company in the world to do that as well. So we're innovative, we're strategic in our thinking. We have a strategy to present and market Capricoin to be a coin of use and not a speculative investor. There's a big difference.
Big difference.
In legitimate currency. I see what you're saying. We need to be listed on an external exchange. We need to have a fully functional blockchain. Those are, quite honestly, the minimums of what you want to have.
Right. So to be a legitimate, and Andy just said it, that's what I was missing. You need to be a fully functional blockchain cryptocurrency, and you need to be listed on a public exchange. And we're listed on 3 public exchanges, and we're listed on blockchain.info, which is a blockchain, listing us as a blockchain cryptocurrency.
It's a verification of chain.
Right.
And without that, a lot of these companies that may have network marketing associated with them that are not verified, that are not blockchain, that are not listed on external exchange,
be very wary.
They're an internal payment system that has no value whatsoever outside of that ecosystem. You could not go to company ABCD, buy something, or better yet, let's say that you've acquired, you hold a certain cryptocurrency internally. Here's the red flags. If you can't immediately get all your money back out, meaning go to an external exchange and sell your cryptocurrency, not a token or some nonsense. If you can't pull all your money out the next day, it's a red flag. Run away, and run away fast, because it's nonsense. More than likely, it's going to be a Ponzi scheme, or it's an unregulated, illegal securities violation of it's fraud. It has no value. It's not recognized by any third party or any external entity. Run away, and run away fast. They're going to promote it. It's going to have great, huge returns, but it's all nonsense. Do not be fooled, and quit wasting your money on that nonsense, because it's not a true cryptocurrency.
So we're going to introduce CapriPay, which is the world's first cryptocurrency payment solution. This is another first for us with Visionary and CapriPay. Nobody else has done this. Nobody else has thought of this. Nobody else has the technology to do this. This is where we are breaking records. This is where people they can't keep up with us. We're offering free cash back. It's free for customers. It's free for merchants to accept payment in Capricoin. You know what? When you can offer something, a payment services and cash back and a loyalty program for free to your merchants, it's going to go viral.
Let's stop right there. Back up a slide.
I can't.
Okay, that's fine. There's been some other companies that tried to penetrate new markets and utilize a cash reward or loyalty payments type system in the past. And there was a couple of problems that they had. Number one, it was so confusing that the merchant and the end user it wasn't viable. It just wasn't realistic for them to do that. They had to buy specialized software. They had to buy terminals. There was API connectivity problems. That was, let's not forget that it cost thousands upon thousands of dollars for the merchant to accept this reward system to try to get their merchants or their customers to utilize it. So if it's cost prohibitive, if there's a barrier there, meaning thousands of dollars up front for a merchant, the odds that you're going to penetrate that market and you're going to make a footprint, it's highly unlikely, because a merchant, they've heard it all. They've been promised the moon, given expectations that very few companies ever meet. Understand why they're going to use us, why they're going to try us, and why we're going to be successful. It's because it's not cost prohibitive. There is a value proposition to the merchant, and we're going to do it for free. All of our apps, Vizionary, CAPRYCOIN, the merchant app, the customer app, they're all going to be free. There's no risk. There's no exposures. There's nothing to lose. If it doesn't work out for them, hey, no problem. But we're not going to charge them thousands upon thousands of dollars to come into our ecosystem. That's ridiculous. We're going to earn our value through the use of the money. And to do that effectively and properly, you need no cost restrictions, no prohibitive barriers that are going to stop them from saying, I'm not going to pay $3,000 to try out this marketing system, because they've tried out the last 15 and they all failed. That's why we're going to be successful.
We have the ability to convert Capricoin to US dollars, euro, won, any other currency in real-time transactions. Another reason we will go viral. It makes it easy. It's a no-brainer. This is the CapRyPay website. You can go to caprypay.com, but no other currency, cryptocurrency, has this technology. We're the first and only company right now who has this technology. This is an example of a Capricoin merchant, a cafe shop down in South Africa. And you can purchase coffee with your Capricoins.
Well, stop right there, too. So many people I read in chats and Skype and Facebook, and they say, when are we going to have the merchant app? When can we bring on merchants? And I say, well, wait a second. When can we bring on merchants? We could bring on merchants a year ago. Bring them in as an individual into Vizionary. Engage them into our culture. Educate them. Have them acquire Capricoin through mining through the Vizionary platform, so they're up, ready to go, and knowledgeable about what it is we can do, the functionality of it, how they can profit, what's the behavior, what's the retention, and how it all works. Because if they're interested as a merchant, wouldn't they be interested as a person? Wouldn't they be interested in ensuring their financial future? Wouldn't it be beneficial to them? Because understand how this works is every time there's a transaction within CapRyPay, it affects 6 different people if you're in Vizionary. So understand that we're signing up merchants now. Maybe the app isn't completely done and we can't facilitate the movement of money or the transact the goods and services now, but if they're interested in a merchant, wouldn't they be interested as a person in Vizionary? So I find it, I don't understand that thought process of people that says, when can we sign up merchants? We could sign up merchants a year ago, 8 months ago. So I don't get that. So if you have a merchant, hey, get him engaged now. Have him start learning what it's all about. And then he'll be ready to go ground running, hit the floor running. When we do have the ability to have every merchant on the planet bring on customers and start monetizing that. Why wait? That's the silliest thing I've ever heard.
But we should be ready, just so you guys know, we should be ready in a few weeks, if not, but it tops 30 days, hopefully. Why would it be attractive for companies? It's free of charge. Andy's mentioned there's no fees, monthly, annual. I mean, most loyalty programs have at least monthly fees. It's easy to download a merchant app. It's completely free. Instant verification of payment. There's no waiting. No chargebacks, no fraud. I mean, that's a big one for a small local merchant who, payment processing fees. Oh my gosh. I don't know how many merchant owners I know that that eats into their profits. The marketing tool is going to be completely free of charge, and obviously they're going to be open to a new market.
It's going to get loud here real quick.
Sorry, we've got we're sitting outside, and we've got
somebody's going to blow the
someone's coming
the stuff off the front of the villa.
Looks like we're All right, so we'll keep going. Capricorn has been designed to work hand in hand with fiat paper currency, not to replace it. You know, that's not what our goal is. We've mentioned Gary Connor, altcoin today, and big endorsement from him as the perfect coin, and he's been in the alternative currency industry for years. Easy to use. I mean, it can't get any easier. We've got, you know, the next generation, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren, they're already on their smartphones. This is going to be second nature to them, and that's where the future is.
Get with your sponsor and get back. Hey guys, it doesn't look like it's going to end anytime soon. So there's many presentations like this. We've got a whole library on YouTube of different webinars that you can utilize, have access to. Get back with the person that shared this with you. Your upline will be launching the marketing system in the coming days, weeks. We've got a new video out that you can utilize for marketing. Get in, get a spot. Those spots are very valuable. We're going to have to cut this short due to noise and so forth here on the maintenance of the facility that we're at. But hey, appreciate you coming in, spending an hour of your day with us, Andy and Nicole. Welcome aboard in advance. You're making a great decision. And with that said, this is Andy and Nicole signing out live from the jungles of, Panama.
Panama.
And have a great week, and hope to meet you soon at the Spain Leaders Convention. Go to work and earn a free trip to Spain.
Well, and also just to let you know, if you don't earn it, you can also come and pay your own way there and meet all of us.
Yeah, might as well.
Get info on how to protect your money and your finances and take control of your future. So we welcome and we look forward to meeting you. So
all right, guys.
Enjoy. Have a great day.
All right.
Bye,
bye-bye.
everyone.
Thanks.